Hey guys, Mark aka the Nerdy Punk back with you again tonight for a new video. Tonight is a very special video. This is my first ever Halloween special. I'm making it sound a lot more extravagant than it actually is. Basically, all I'm going to do is I'm going to run through most, if not all, of the horror films that I saw in the past week and a half. And I'm going to do very short reviews on each one of them. I have 7 films written down here. But first of all, happy Halloween to everybody. I love Halloween. It's my second favorite holiday. This is one of my favorite times of the year because it just, you feel that chill in the air. There's horror movies all over the place. You know, everything's just like spooky. I love it. So, sticking on Halloween theme, I am wearing sort of my costume. I am Kurt Cobain, of course, from Nirvana. I was actually gonna go all out and like get a wig and everything, but for a variety of reasons, I didn't end up going out this year, so I just decided to throw this on for the video to make it even more Halloween themed. So I'm going to take off these glasses now. That feels a lot better. Yeah, cool. Anyway, Kurt Cobain. So, I thought I would go ahead and run through these movies, talk a little bit about them, tell you, like, I have it in order of worst to best for me. And there are some really good films on here that I think a lot of people are going to be surprised at my rankings on. So, without further ado, the first film, number 7 on my list for the Horrorthon 2018, is Veronica. Veronica, Spanish language horror movie on Netflix that everybody has raved about. Everybody thought this film was just incredible. I've seen numerous reviews saying it's the best horror movie on Netflix. It's one of the best horror movies in a very long time. I was underwhelmed. This was a very slow movie that never really made sense to me. It's supposed to be based off of a true story, which makes it even creepier than it actually is already. But the plot and what you saw on the film didn't really make a whole lot of sense. That may be because I was kind of working on stuff while I was watching it, so I wasn't able to dedicate my entire attention to the film. But I don't know. I mean, I don't think it was bad by any means. I would probably give it in the 3 to 3.5 out of 5 range, but it just wasn't incredible. It is a possession movie if you're not familiar with it. But like I said, it was, a lot of people were raving about this film, and I just didn't feel like it was quite as good as it could have been. Number 6 is Terrifier, which is kind of a more obscure horror film. There are a couple kind of obscure ones, and then quite a few that are ranted and raved about by the horror community. Terrifier is another newer film. I think it came out in 2017, if I'm not mistaken. I did not want to watch this movie, but I'm really glad I did. It's a evil clown movie, which, if you don't know, I had a phobia of clowns for a long time, and I still kind of do, but I've kind of gotten over it a little bit. That's why it took me so long to see the movie It, which I still haven't seen, believe it or not. So anyway, this Terrifier is a throwback to like 80s slasher movies, which is what I really, really loved. I mean, even the title sequence looks like it's from the 80s, from a slasher movie. This movie is over the top, though. It is very, very graphic, very gory, but I feel like that is the strength of the movie. The plot is not amazing, but the main character, the clown, the evil clown that's murdering people, doesn't speak a word of dialogue, doesn't even make a sound in the movie, which I thought was a very good choice because it set this movie apart from other like generic slashers. Number 5 is The Babysitter, which I really wanted to rank higher, but I just couldn't. That movie is so much fun. It is another throwback to 80s slasher movies, but it's on the funny side. It's not quite as gory. The movie's fucking hilarious. It is, like, every second of it had me just like rolling in laughter. Never really serious at all. There are a few kill scenes, of course, but it keeps a lighthearted tone the entire film. And I do feel like that's a film that's going to be very subjective. Some people are going to love it, some people are going to hate it. For those that like cheesy, over-the-top, funny-ass horror movies, like me, I think you're going to enjoy it. But if you don't like that film, I would not recommend that type of film. I would not recommend watching The Babysitter, because it is very over-the-top. Number 4 is another obscure film. It's called Baskine. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's a Turkish horror movie about these four or five police officers who like get caught in these underground tunnels in this really creepy like town building, and the movie is like loaded with symbolism. The whole movie is just loaded with symbolism, so much that I didn't pick up on it until I like watched a video that explained the film to me. Because the first time you watch it, you're probably not going to get it. But once you do know like what the director was hinting at, it makes the film that much better. And this movie was really, really creepy. Again, over the top and gory. So if that's not your thing, maybe stay away from it. But there was a lot of messed up imagery in this film. But I loved every second of it. Number 3 is one that a lot of people have raved about over the past few years. All of these actually, except for one, is a fairly recent release. There's one that's kind of an older film. I think the oldest one was released in 2007 on my list, so I did not actually notice that. I need to watch more old school horror. That's definitely been a goal of mine. Unfortunately, this Halloween it didn't happen. But I'm a big fan of horror, so it's not like Halloween's going to stop me from watching horror movies. I'm going to keep watching horror movies. But anyway, number 3 is VHS. A lot of people have just ranted and raved about this film as well. It's a found footage film, and I really, really enjoyed it. It's about this group of like 4 guys who are just absolute assholes. Like, they show them in the beginning of the film just going around messing with people, and they go into this like abandoned house where this old guy has apparently been murdered, and they find this really creepy videotape collection, and it's an anthology, so it's a collection of 4 stories. So basically it started out as 4 short films, and they compiled them to make the movie. And as with most horror anthologies, some of the short films are better than others. The first one and the second one, first and the second one were my favorite, actually. A lot of people love the final short film, and I honestly don't remember a whole lot about it now. It didn't stick with me for whatever reason. But I did find this movie very, very creepy. It did rely way too much on like old school horror tropes. Tons of nudity for what appeared to be no reason. Tons of sex and, gore. But I mean, that's kind of what you're going to expect from some horror movies. But I feel like this one tried to be smarter than that, but it wasn't, but I still ranked it as 3 because I really, really enjoyed it. Number 2, getting down to the nitty gritty here, we have The Conjuring. So The Conjuring has been like the buzz about town over the past few years when it comes to horror, and I had not seen it yet. I still haven't seen the second one, but what I've seen from James Wan I have loved. And so I was definitely down to see this movie. I was slightly disappointed by it, though, because everyone seems to think The Conjuring is just this amazing, amazing movie. And I enjoyed it, don't get me wrong. I put it at number 2, so I really, really enjoyed it. I just didn't think there was anything spectacular about the film. It seemed to me like a possession movie. That's basically what it was. I think the characters of Ed and Lorraine Warren are very, very good. They're very relatable, and you get invested in those characters. But beyond that, it just felt like a possession movie that I've seen a bunch of times before. But again, I had to put it at number 2 because I felt like I really enjoyed it, even though I don't think it was that special. Now, we'll see what I think of the second Conjuring, and, make my mind up from there on the series. It's definitely one that I can see myself watching again. I just don't think it was as incredible as everyone else seems to think it is. And then finally, number 1, my favorite of the Horror-thon 2018 is, drumroll please, I have the Blu-ray copy, Trick or Treat. This is another horror anthology that everybody loves. Like, every film critic on YouTube seems to just go on and on about how great this movie is, and I couldn't find very many flaws with this. Every single story, it's an anthology, but every single short story in this movie is incredible. This movie is really funny as well. There's a lot of really good over-the-top, old-school cheese in this movie. The character of Sam, right there in the middle, is just an iconic character now in the horror realm. And I love the concept behind this movie, and I really did love every minute of it. The only thing that I would complain about is the runtime. There's not enough minutes in this film. It's only 82 minutes. It's not even an hour and a half. That is just crazy short for a horror film, or for a film just in general, not just horror. But performances were incredible. The writing is incredible. Directing is incredible. This is an instant horror classic, and I'm so glad I picked this up. I picked up the collector's edition from Shout Factory that just recently came out, or Scream Factory, shall I say, which is their horror wing. I ordered a bunch of Blu-rays actually from their site. Oh, this is the alternative artwork. Scream Factory always comes out with reversible artwork on their releases, which I really, really like, because when you get the slipcover, which I'm not always lucky enough to get the slipcover, but when you have the slipcover, you've got the regular artwork, and then you've got the alternative artwork, which is really cool. If you don't get the slipcover, you can basically just pick whichever one you like the best. But anyway, Trick or Treat. Yeah, I was talking about ordering some horror Blu-rays from Scream Factory that have not even been shipped yet. I just actually sent an email to their customer support, and turns out one of the titles that I had ordered was on back order. So apparently they don't ship orders until they have every item in stock, and then they ship. So that's why it's been like 2 weeks since I've ordered those Blu-rays. I've been wanting to do an unboxing for you guys. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for some vinyl updates and some Blu-ray updates that I'm behind on, but life has been weird right now. It's been very very crazy, very busy. And also stay tuned. I'm going to see Laura Jane Grace, her new side project. Of course, she's the lead singer of Against Me, one of my favorite punk bands of all time. I'm going to see her new side project, The Devouring Mothers, in Indianapolis on Saturday. So stay tuned for the concert vlog for that. That'll probably be the next video to go up. So hoping to get this video up by the end of the night tonight, so it will be up on Halloween. Happy Halloween. Have an amazing night. Bye.